All right, guys, so in this video, we're going to go over 8th grade math minute number 5. Go ahead and scroll down here. Okay, so with our first problem, we have 3 squared times 3 times 3 times 3. Okay, what I'm going to go ahead and do here is, and we have to decide whether or not that's equal to 3 with an exponent of 4 or not, okay? So on the left side, I'm going to go ahead and count how many 3's I have that I'm multiplying here. Okay, so 3 squared, that's 3 times 3. Times 3, times 3, times 3. So on the left side, I'm multiplying 3 by itself 5 times. Okay, that would be 3 with an exponent of 5, 3 to the 5th power. 3 to the 5th power, that's not the same as 3 to the 4th power. So that is not true, that's false. Okay, number 2. Write 5,806 in scientific notation. So when we talked about with scientific notation, we're multiplying a number, okay, that only has a number in the ones place. Everything else is behind a decimal. We're multiplying it times 10 with some sort of exponent. Okay, so I'm going to fill out what I already know. Okay, I know we have to write 5,806 in scientific notation. So the numbers I have are 5, 8, 0, 6. And I said that we have to make sure we only have a number in the ones place. There shouldn't be any numbers in the tens place, no numbers in the hundreds place. We want to get it down to where we only have a number in the ones place and then everything else is after a decimal point. All right, so I'm going to write it as 5.806. 5.806. I know there's kind of a glare there. I'm actually going to see if I can scroll to make this easier for you to see. I know you guys, it's kind of, this is frustrating. Okay, so it's 5,806 in scientific notation. I'm gonna do it in a spot where you guys can see it. I'll do it right here, okay? So 5,806. And we said we wanted to write it to where there's only a number in the ones place and then everything else is behind a decimal. So 5.806. And we are multiplying this by 10. And then the next thing we need to do, scientific notation, multiplying by 10, we need to figure out how many places to the right does this decimal have to move so that it becomes 5,806 after we multiply it by 10. So if I count, I know that decimal's got to go 1 place, 2 places, 3 places to the right. Okay? So that means I'm going to have an exponent of 3. All right? So 5,806 in scientific notation is 5.806 or 5 and 806 thousandths times 10 to the 3rd power. All right. I know that one's kind of tricky, kind of tough to get to, but we will spend more time on it in the future. I promise you that. All right. Okay, number 3. 2 in a negative with an exponent of negative 3 equals 1 over 2 to the 3rd power. Remember we talked about in the last video. Okay. Anytime we have a negative exponent, all you do to get rid of that negative exponent, I'm going to write it here. We had 2 and negative 3, is to give it a numerator of 1. Turn it into a fraction, give it a numerator of 1. That'll take care of that negative. And we're left with 1 over 2 cubed, and that is exactly what they told us up there. Okay, so in this case, this would be true. Okay, number 4, square root is 64. So what number times itself is 64? Well, that's going to be 8. 3 times 8 is 64. Number 5, we have 3, and then in parentheses we have 8 plus, and then within those parentheses we have more parentheses. 4 plus 2, parenthesis, parenthesis. Okay, so we need to take a look at what we have in parentheses, which is this right here. Okay, and before we can do that, we have to take care of the parentheses within the parentheses. All right, so I'm going to outline that, make it a little bit easier for us to see. Hopefully you can see it in the pink a little bit. Okay, we have to take care of 4 plus 2. 4 plus 2 is 6. Okay, Now we can read it as 3 parentheses, 8 plus 6, end parentheses. 8 plus 6 is 14. So we have 3 parentheses, 14. You know that parenthesis means multiplication, so 3 times 14 is going to give us 42. Okay, number 6. What does A equal in this problem? We have 8 equals 2A. Or I shouldn't say 2A, I should say 2 with an exponent of A. Okay, so what we're trying to figure out is 2 times itself, how many times is going to get us to 8? Okay, so let's do this. 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8. Okay, how many times did I multiply 2 by itself? Multiplied it by itself 3 times. So A is going to be 3. Okay, number 7. We have x times x equals, again, you're not going to have an answer with a clear number, okay? Because we're dealing with a variable. We're dealing with x. We don't know what it stands for. All I'm asking you to do here is to write x times x in exponential form, okay? We want to write it with an exponent. So the number that we're multiplying over and over, well, I guess in this case the letter we're multiplying over and over and over again is x. And our exponent, that number in the top right corner, is going to be how many times we're multiplying x by itself. I see here that we have 3 x's. 3 x's. So that means we're going to have an exponent of 3. Okay, x cubed. Sweet. Okay, and then on to 8, 9, and 10. I have to zoom out a little bit for this one. Okay, number 8, we're dealing with variables, and at least we're told what the variables represent. We're told their values, okay? It says, if A equals 6 and B equals 2, then what does A with an exponent of B equal? So let's rewrite this. Let's replace A with its value, which is 6. Replace B with its value, which is 2. 6 squared. That does not mean 6 times 2. It means 6 times 6. That's 36. Okay, number 9. We have 2 with an exponent of 5 divided by 2 with an exponent of 3. Remember what we talked about in the last video. We could write this out up here like 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 over 2 times 2 times 2. And then we would see that 3 of the 2's cancel out, cancel out, cancel out, cancel out, and we're just left with 2 times 2. Now to give us 4. Or instead of going through all that work, what you could do is notice that we have the same coefficient here. Okay? We have 2 in our numerator, 2 in our denominator, same exact coefficient. The exponents are different though. Since we're dividing with the exponents, all we could do is just subtract the 3 from 5. So 2/5, you take a look at our exponent of 5, our exponent of 3. What's 5 minus 3? It's 2. So you could just do 2 with an exponent of 2. And we know that equals 4. All right, so whatever works best for you. Okay, just know our answer here is 4. And then number 10, according to the graph, which of these is true? Our y-axis, so the axis that goes up and down, it's a vertical, is representing temperature. And our x-axis, okay, the line that goes across, it's horizontal, represents the time. And just based off what I'm looking at, it looks like in the morning, our temperature is rising, and then as we get towards the PM, our temperature is dropping. So which of these 4 options essentially says that? It says that it gets warmer, and then it gets cold later in the day. I notice when I look at B, it says temperature goes up and then down during the day. All right, so I would say B. All right, that's Math Minute 5. See you guys later.